Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do you want to really make your BMW M2 look much more aggressive? I'll show you how. All right, so make sure to check out both the front end and side skirts for this kit as well, because this is the complete kit from Kies Motorsports, and all of the style ties in together. So there's elements in the front that tie into the side skirts, there's parts of the side skirts that are gonna tie into the tail. Now, I'm really excited about this. This is gonna dramatically change the look of my car, just like the front end and the side skirts did. So we're gonna be installing a new carbon fiber diffuser, much more aggressive than the OEM. We're going to be adding rear diffuser elements all the way across the back and bottom edge, and we're even going to be filling in parts of the rear bumper, much like the OEM pieces do, but carbon fiber, and they all tie in together. This isn't a hard project. It's only going to take a few simple tools, and I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. And this is going to make a dramatic difference in your car. All right, let's jump in and let's get started on the back. All right, so let's kind of take a look at the before here. So this is the factory diffuser. It doesn't have any of the rear elements, so you can tell I have blacked out my rear reflectors. Now, when you look at this, this is going to replace all of the diffuser here across the back. And then we're going to add new winglets here on either side that are going to tie into the side skirts. And then in addition, there are carbon fiber pieces that fill in this whole section and then down that edge to tie into the blades. It'll all make sense when it's done, but I'm really excited about this. This is going to look great. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to want to do is actually clean the car. So these pieces and the bottom edge pieces go on primarily with 3M adhesive. So my car is a little bit dirty right now. So what you don't want to be doing is putting these pieces onto a dirty car. So use a little bit of soap. I'm going to use some quick detailer and a microfiber cloth, and I'm going to clean all of these areas really, really well. So let me get that done. I don't need to show you, it's that simple, you know how to do it. And then we're going to walk through taking the rear diffuser off. So you may be surprised that this entire piece is just held on with a series of little tabs with those, little locking flanges that go into holes back here in your bumper, just like that. So what you don't want to do is break this or make a big mess, but it's just a whole series of these all the way across. So what I find is these bottom edges are the easiest to get to. Lead on this bottom edge, because you can actually get your hands back behind. So you can see there's one here, there's one here, you can see the little tab. You can actually get your fingers, if you have to, up back behind and depress that tab a little bit to give yourself a little bit of space. What you don't want to do as well is you don't want to scrape up your paint, so be very, very gentle. I also started on this side because I could take my tow hook cover off, and I actually could get to this one right here, right back behind. So really simple. And you're going to walk your way the rest of the way down. You want to be careful. You don't want to break this, just in case you ever want to put it back, in case you want to sell it. There's also a series along this bottom edge of these same tabs that go into plastic. Now, those are harder to get to because there's metal shielding that comes down, heat shielding that comes down from your exhaust. So I'll show that last. But basically, just very slowly and carefully with a clean plastic trim tool, just kind of work your way and just get these little plastic retaining fingers to pop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide a plastic trim tool down on the inside here, because I don't want it along this edge that'll scrape the paint. I want it on the inside edge, and I'm going to slowly work these off as I work my way down. I also find with pieces like this, just like it was with the front, once you get one loose, they get easier because you kind of get leverage on the rest. Okay, so work your way all the way across this top line, and then we'll do the bottom line. All right, so as you can tell, this whole top edge is off, and these little tabs depress downward. So one little trick that you can do is I very carefully worked a plastic trim tool, an angled plastic trim tool down the line until I hit the clip, pulled out a little bit with one hand so I could see that little tab. And if I just reached in and just tipped down ever so slightly, and I mean just a little bit, the clip would pop out. So now the entire line is off from one edge all the way to the other. Now, this bottom side, let's take a look at it here really quick. The tabs are actually in the reverse direction. So the tabs are coming off this piece into this plastic trim here. As you can see, there's one of the tabs right there because I've already pulled it out. I wanted to show you what it looks like. So you're just going to walk your way down that line, push those little tabs upwards, and get this bottom edge free and clear of the trim. Once you get that bottom edge off, you can tell the whole piece comes off really, really nicely. I'm also going to use this opportunity to clean under those bottom edges again a little bit better. I'm going to make sure these upper sections are clean, and I'm also going to clean all along the lead edges in here that you can't normally get to unless this piece is off. All right, so go ahead and take the OEM piece, set it aside. We're going to go get the carbon fiber diffuser and snap that into place next. All right, so here's the new piece. It's going to take both hands to snap it into place. I just wanted to show you what this looks like. It has the exact same tabs, those little bump tabs up on top, so it is just going to snap right back into place with no effort whatsoever. So just line it up with the holes where the original one was, slide it into place, and it's going to be good to go. So let's get this hung, and we're going to work on the rest of the pieces. So the new piece is on. It already looks really good. I'm really psyched by this. Now I'm going to do a couple of off-label installation instructions I want to share with you guys. Now you may not need to do this, but in my case I do, so I'm going to share them with you. Now I noticed, and I'm going to use the original piece here as an example, these would often come loose. There's been a couple of times when I've been washing my car that I've noticed like this outer one was loose, and there's the same one on the new piece here. So using the original as the example, you can see the cutout here. This is what pushes through, in my case, the red of the bumper surround. So on the inside edge of the car, I'm gonna loop a zip tie through the hole and through the tab and cinch it down tight here and here, because I can reach both. I might be able to reach this one. I don't think it's as important. Now, you probably don't have to do that. I think I have to do that in my case simply because my original one was slightly loose. Now, the other thing, if you followed my build, and this doesn't have anything to do with this carbon fiber install, but I also have the Active Auto Work exhaust that has much larger exhaust tips, so you have to make sure that you've got clearance and fitment and you're not rubbing. In my case, the hangers on both sides, right back here, where that hanger that comes up and bolts, so if you followed my exhaust DIY, where the hanger comes up with a 13mm nut, I've added 4 washers to bring that hanger down, to bring my exhaust tips a little bit lower. Now, the default exhaust tips would fit in this just fine. In my case, they were sitting slightly high because of the carbon fiber surround on the exhaust tip. That's not Kies's fault. That's just the combination of all these parts. So I put washers on the hangers of both my exhausts and brought it down just enough that now I've got good clearance on all my exhaust tips. Okay, so go ahead and get caught up on all that, and then we're gonna install the side wings, and we're gonna install the back pieces. All right, so now we're going to be installing the side piece that we're just going to dry fit here for a second. You can see where it fits up against the tail piece right there, comes underneath and runs down the edge of the body right there, just like that. And there are 2 10mm bolts. So it's just typical body bolts, one here, one here. They're really easy to see when you get your head underneath. So go ahead and take both of those 10mm out, and then very gently put them through here. The washers will help hold it in place. If you don't cinch it down, that gives enough space that this piece will still have play in it. It'll be able to wiggle like this. That'll allow you to come in, take off the backing on the 3M adhesive and line it up. If you notice, there's 2 holes here and 2 holes here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this all lined up and flushed up against this piece really nicely. Then I'm just gonna use a pair of zip ties and loop them through both those holes so it closes very nicely across that entire gap. All right, y'all, so both sides are on. Man, that looks good. And actually the turn of the weather here on me, if you couldn't tell, is a good reminder. So as much as you can, you're not going to want to get these pieces wet for about 24 hours. Make sure that you give any of your 3M adhesive time to stick down really, really well before it gets exposed to the weather. It's supposed to be weather resistant. It's going to do a good job doing it, but I try really hard not to get my car wet, especially with big pieces like this. So, all right, y'all, so let's talk about this a little bit, and obviously a little bit of a jump ahead with the pieces already in place. Now, I apologize. I actually had a little bit of a hardware failure, and I lost the segment showing the installs. Now, all of these pieces are backed by 3M. There's 3M strips down the side and all the way across the back. So you wanna make sure that all of these surfaces are very, very clean to get them to stick down. If need be, you can also use a heat gun to warm up the surface a little bit. That will help promote adhesion of all the 3M. But once you get all that done, it's really straightforward to stick it all into place. Be especially sensitive down to these lower sections. Those, those narrow strips, you want to make sure that they get on and stay on. Last thing you want to do is have them peel off, because then they could potentially catch the wind, which would be bad as you're driving. So make sure that they stick down really, really well. But all in all, you can tell once those are on, this is done. Looks absolutely fantastic. I love this whole kit and the way it all ties in together. So go ahead and clean up, put your tools away, well done. All right guys, so all done. As you can tell, this is not a hard project and really can make a tremendous difference in the appearance of your M2, and especially tied into the rest of the kit, the side skirts and the front end as well. So thank you to Kies Motorsports for making such a fantastic product. I really love having their gear on my car. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a big difference to my channel and I would truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next project.